No chemicals or preservatives, just 100% honest to goodness hickory smoked meat.
Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Boy, some chicken wings have really hit the spot.
You ain't got no better food, like some chicken wings, some baby back ribs, some fries or something?
It's just two guys talking, am I right? We're just talking.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the kitchen.
Yeah, are we calling this just the kitchen, or the pit has a fancy name. I feel like the kitchen.
I don't know where we're gonna end up every week.
That's true. We're gonna be all over the place. This is a traveling video podcast thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for those of you that aren't dedicated, loyal listeners of the podcast, this is the first of what will hopefully be many.
Could be the last.
Could be the last. No, but new format for Fat Guys with Smokers. Every other week we're going to do a little bit longer format video.
Yeah.
So this one's in the kitchen. We're going to talk about gadgets, and we've talked about kitchen tools and things before, but it's good to have them here to be able to show them and what we use on a day in and day out when we're cooking.
Yeah.
So do this and then tune in next time, and we'll talk more in detail about some of this stuff. So
yeah, and hit us up in the comments so that we have stuff to respond to, and hopefully make the podcast a little more engaging and not just us talking at each other, although we do enjoy that. So
yeah,
do whatever you want, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
at me.
Come at us, bro.
Alrighty. Well, Mike, we've got a bunch of stuff here.
We do.
I cleaned the kitchen so that we'd be allowed to use the kitchen.
Well done.
And then I promptly got it dirty by pulling everything out.
Well, I would say more cluttered than dirty.
Yeah.
Everything's clean.
And I'm going to get in trouble because she's actually going to watch this video. Haley helped quite a bit clean the
I'll
kitchen.
bet.
So Mrs. Hayden Barbecue did a big part here.
Well done, Haley. Well done.
Mike, what do we have? Where do we want to start in this?
I was just going to ask you, do you want me to move the camera in, or are we just going to send it? Let's do it.
Let's send it.
Well, I'm going to start with my favorite thing, the foil pan.
Foil frickin' pans.
And these are the size that I like. Do you ever use the bigger ones?
I only use the bigger ones if I'm catering.
That makes sense.
If I'm catering and I'm doing like a huge thing of mac and cheese, I'll use the big pan.
Okay.
Or if I'm doing like a couple of briskets, I'll use the big pan because the presentation's a little nicer. You can almost drop a whole brisket in it.
That makes sense.
But
Yeah, I'm a big fan of these. You can do basically anything. Some things that come to mind is when I pull my ham or do the pulled ham, I always cook it in one of these with a bunch of apple juice so it just kind of stays moist and gets all delicious. We've shredded a lot of pulled pork in these bad boys. So I think, and you can get them 30 for $20 or something.
no, it's not even. It's
Costco or
I just
Sam's
bought them
Club.
at Costco a week ago. I think it was $11 at Costco, and they're even cheaper at Sam's Club.
Really? See, and I go through them so fast. And even Whitney goes through them now that we have them. She uses them for all kinds of stuff. She's a huge fan.
Yeah.
So,
So I'll save some of my favorite reasons for foil pans for next week.
okay.
Otherwise,
That's a good call.
we're going to be here all
Foil
day.
pan.
So foil pans are awesome and should definitely be on there.
I don't know what this is, so you're going to take over here.
Well, this is something that I got as a gift that I've used a couple of times, but I haven't used all that often. It's called a Drip Easy, is what it
Okay.
says, but it's intended to be a resting blanket.
Okay.
So you can cook whatever you're going to cook, and it's big enough. You can put a whole pack of brisket in here,
Okay.
and then zip it up, and instead of using a cooler or something, you now have this
You
soft
can just
side.
leave it in that then.
Yeah.
You don't put that in a cooler.
Nope.
It stays.
This becomes a thermal blanket.
So you wrap it in foil and put it in there? Or I noticed it's got the reflective stuff inside.
Yeah, so it's got the reflective stuff inside to keep heat in there. I leave mine wrapped, so I still do the same thing. I wrap it in saran wrap. I just use this instead of a cooler. So it's nice, like super small. It's easy to pack around and take places with you. You can see, like, it doesn't hold grease super well.
Oh, yeah.
So it gets kind of dirty.
That's icky.
So I pulled this out to share it. I still use my cooler.
Yeah, I was
love
gonna
my
ask
cooler.
if it works the same as a cooler.
It works the same. It's just
Stays as
fine.
warm and
If you
everything.
needed something and you didn't have a ton of space to store a cooler, this is a great option. But especially when I just always tend to cook for a big enough crowd that I need something bigger than this anyways.
Okay.
So I haven't got as much use out of it as I thought I would.
Okay.
So
It's fancy.
yeah,
I like it.
that's cool.
Barbecue blanket.
Yep.
Bear paws. I love these things, man.
I think that was the first thing I ever bought.
I think it was one of the first things I bought too. And it was before I learned how to cook good, so I definitely needed them because
Yeah.
it was like a mess.
Yeah. So I originally bought these to shred meat with, but I actually think, grabbing meat
Yeah.
is what I use.
You're the one
more
that told me
for
that.
than
I
anything
love it.
now.
That's a great tip, is you just take them and I like that a lot. Because tongs, it doesn't work well when you've got a huge
Yeah, when you've
pork
got
shoulder or something, you know.
you got a 20-pound brisket out there, even 2 pairs of tongs ain't gonna cut it.
And it seems silly. I mean, I guess I would still put gloves on, but it seems silly to waste a pair of gloves just to put it from here to here. So these are really nice to
Yeah. So, bear paws, love them.
Bear paws. There's a bunch of knockoffs, but these are
Yeah.
sweet.
While we're talking about gloves, this is probably we'll talk about thermometers in a second. Thermometers is the first thing you should buy.
Yeah.
I think gloves are the next.
Yeah, I think so too.
And these cheap nitrile gloves, I use by the case.
Yeah.
They're great, especially like when you're cooking and you're in and out. Rubs will stain your hand all sorts of colors and make a mess, and you get it on, like, you just can't get it out of your skin. So nitrile gloves are great. And then you buy these cheap cotton liners, you put them underneath, and now your hands turn into those bear claws.
It's so nice.
And
And they are cheap. Like, these cotton liners are not expensive.
I think I bought a pack of 30 cotton gloves on Amazon for like $6.
Yeah, yeah. See, and I mean, these are reusable. I just throw them in the laundry when I'm done with them and
Yeah.
redo them. Gray's a good call. Mine are white and they get stained a little bit. It's kind of gross. So
I
Good
wish
call on
I
the gray.
I could say I was smart enough to have done that on my own. It just happened to be the cheap ones.
well, there you go.
So-
I love it. Do you want to talk thermometers?
Let's talk thermometers.
Let's do thermometers. Tell us about this little guy here.
This one?
Yeah.
This is a Therm Pro Lightning, which is my favorite thermometer. Quick instant read. They go on sale all the time. I think regularly they're 50 or 60 bucks on Amazon. But it's called the Lightning because it's a 2-second or a second and a half temperature reading. So this is great for checking different spots to know what the internal temp is, but it's also, like, this is my favorite thing to take out and just, when we talk about probe tender,
Yeah.
this is the probe we're talking about.
Check
You
for
just
tenderness.
see how soft a piece of meat is.
Yeah.
So
And we'll talk about this next, but I have I have the Thermopen, basically the same thing.
yeah, you've got
But-
the like fancy expensive one.
It does the same thing, but I got a meter block and I love it and it's convenient, but I mean, sometimes I don't even use it and I just use this. Like, I really like these, so.
Yeah. So the meter block, and there's a single meter hanging on the fridge back there. Like, I love my meter. The really nice thing about the block is it's got Wi-Fi built into it. And it's an extended leave-in thermometer. You put it in your piece of meat. The probe and the block talk to each other, and then the block talks to the cloud. So anywhere you go that you've got an internet connection, you now know what the temperature reading is. And you can get an ambient reading as well as an internal reading.
Yeah, which is super nice because it can tell you if you don't have like an alarm on your smoker, Or in my case, I was using my Weber and had, I think it was a pork shoulder on there. And so it was kind of nice just to see if there were any spikes and stuff. It stayed pretty good, but it was nice to just have that peace of mind to be like, oh, ambient temperature is this. Maybe I need to go adjust some things.
Yeah.
So,
and there's some drawbacks to these RF thermometers. Thermopro just put out a new one.
yeah, what's that called?
It's an RFX, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It
That
looks
was
sick.
A lot of people were really into
It's
that.
wicked expensive though.
Is it?
So we'll have to talk about that next week on the podcast.
For sure. Let us know what leave-in thermometers you like. I had the Dot for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked that too. So, but these are sweet. I feel like these are like luxury. Like, I'm a big fan of these, but something like this that's not nearly as expensive is, I mean, it'll get the job done.
If you're just getting into it, that's great.
Yeah.
If it's been a while and you're getting the itch to buy something new and you don't want to buy a whole new grill, the meter block should definitely be
It's
on the list.
spendy, but it's nice. It's nice to have.
Yeah.
So.
And keep your eye on Father's Day. There are a couple of, I think the first one will probably be Memorial Day. I think Memorial Day will probably be the first big sale they do this year.
Yeah, but they do several during the summer because you got yours on Father's Day, right?
Yeah, I think
And
so.
I had like missed it and was ticked, and then 4th of July came, and I was like, oh, sweet, yeah. So keep your eyes peeled, but it's definitely a nice to have. Like, it's not a necessity, but it's pretty handy.
Yeah. All right, yeah, let's talk about,
I freaking love these things.
I know, I might have 2 of them.
Ooh, is this like a base for it?
No, it's a lid. It's even better.
What? I do not have a lid for mine. So this is a cutting board, but it expands
Into a bin.
into a bin, which is so nice when you're seasoning to keep everything contained.
Well, especially if you're doing several cuts of meat, and everyone, I'm sure you can hear them. Beans and Nana,
You jump up here?
Hey, come here.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Heyo!
Don't let Mom see
Beans.
this. This is Beans.
Come here, Nana. You too.
I don't think Nana will do it.
No, she's like, I don't know if I'm
She's
that rebellious."
not. She is not quite as rebellious as Beans is.
These are the fat guys' mascots.
Yeah, they're sticking around here. But yeah,
Multiple cuts of meat,
multiple
you were
cuts
saying.
of meat. It's great. You get the seasoning in there, and you know when you season on a cutting board, you always end up with like a bunch of loose seasoning. You can put it in. You can roll them around, shake
Yes.
it. You can really. It's like going back to the early '90s with shake and bake.
It's shake and bake.
And I hailed. I could go for some shake and bake potatoes.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, you can. I've done wings in here and stuff, but with a lid, that's a game changer. I don't have a lid.
Well,
for
yeah,
mine.
the other thing that I really like doing, if I've got a long ways to walk from my prep area to my grill, I love popping that thing up. The number of times I've had a dog trip me, or I've tripped on something in the yard, like
And it slides right off a
I've
cutting board.
dumped fresh meat. Remember Traeger Day when I dumped the potatoes everywhere?
I forgot about that. Oh.
Yeah, one of these is great.
Yeah, big fan.
So,
And they're relatively inexpensive. One drawback, I think, is they suck to clean. Like,
They
it's
do.
hard to get them nice and clean with all the crevices. You have to pop them out.
You
and
got to
then
pop it
scrub
out.
really
You got to
good.
scrub it good. Yeah, they used to be really expensive. I've seen them at Costco.
Oh, really? I
That-
did not.
The lid, and I've got a black one in the cupboard. Or maybe it was Sam's Club. I got it there, and it was like $15.
See, I'll have to look, because I want one this size. Mine's like half this size, and it's really nice, but for something big, yeah.
So those are great. This is the other thing that I love for taking stuff to and from the grill. This is just like a good old school,
Straight up McDonald's tray.
yeah, McDonald's cafeteria, just like generic food service. You can get them on Amazon. They're like $4.
See, and that's genius, because stuff's still hot when you're trying to move it. You grab under a foil pan and you're burning your hand. You put it on that. Like, I love that idea.
Or, you know, just get real rowdy and find a cafeteria and steal one.
I know of one. That's a great idea. Might have to talk to some people. Do we want to talk about this while we're here? Working our way across the table?
Let's circle back on this, because this is really like end of the meal.
Yeah,
kind of
that's a good call. Okay.
So, Okay, cutting boards.
Kind of made a mess over here.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
You need a big mother cutting board.
Yes.
This one is, I don't know, call it 16 by 20 probably.
Yeah, I support it.
I often find this isn't big enough,
Yeah.
especially if I'm doing a whole packer brisket. Like,
Well, even like ribs. Like ribs will go off the sides of cutting board all the time. It's
Yeah.
very frustrating.
so pro tip though, if you're gonna use one of these, stick a damp towel
I saw
underneath
something about
this.
that. Yeah.
So, I mean, this thing, you can see it kind of wobbles, and especially when you're leaning on it, cutting, it moves. And if you take one of these just cheapo towels, get it wet. Apparently I cleaned the counter with this one. Get it
No,
wet
that's
and just
not
set it
what's clean
underneath. It's like a magnet.
That keeps it from moving, huh? See, I've never thought about that before. I saw something on it like a day ago.
Yeah.
And I've never thought about
Pro
it.
tip. So
Would a wet paper towel do the same thing?
I don't know if it would or not. I'm worried it would
It
like
might tear
shred.
apart. Yeah, wouldn't be the same. One thing I have probably the same one or something very similar. One thing I don't like about it is there's no juice or drip.
Yeah.
Juice. What would you call
Trough.
this? Juice trough, whatever. Like I would look for. I love the size, and like I said, I have the same one. It's great.
Yeah.
But if you're slicing something that's done, you're gonna have juice everywhere. So I like the juice trough.
I like the juice trough. The reason I have that one, you can buy them at Sam's Club or Costco. If you haven't caught on, Sam's Club and Costco is a great place to get
That's the
big like restaurant supply type quality stuff that'll last. I think they're $12.
yeah. I think that's
Like-
right around what I paid for one last
They're
year.
super cheap. I've got another one that I got at Walmart that does have a small trough, but it's too thin, so it's warped now.
Yeah. See, that's.
So you've got to make sure you get the thick ones.
We have super flat ones that just lay on the counter, and we've loved them forever, but it doesn't work. Once it goes, and we just put them in the dishwasher, they'll like curl up.
Yeah.
It's not nice, so.
No.
Thick ones are the way to go.
That, and then I love the big wood one. Mike's big.
Yeah.
Fat Guys with Smoker one.
Starting to fade. Do you have any tips about getting the Fat Guys logo, like, easy to see again? Let us know. I've got some ideas, but
Yeah.
we'll have to.
I wonder if we hit it with some
That's a bit.
oil.
That's what I wondered if I just oiled it, if it would be. I probably should stop looking back because the microphone's in front of me. All right, tell us about your knife collection, John.
Yeah, so I've got a bunch of different ones, and actually there's another one I need to pull out there.
Yes, I was gonna bring my one of those.
A lot of these are nice to have. They're not must-haves.
Yeah,
If I was only going to have two knives, it would be these two.
I just got one of these recently. This is like a slicer, and I haven't had one, and it is so nice. I did not know what I was missing.
Yeah, so this is an 8-inch fillet knife.
That's just like a fishing fillet knife.
Yep.
Huh.
They don't make this particular one anymore. This one's a Gerber. It was like $14. You could buy it at Walmart. You could buy it on Amazon. The nice thing about it is it's got this a little bit of flex to it. So as you're, trimming fat, cutting silver skin off, this is nice because you can kind of get in there and it'll bend a little bit for
Yeah.
you. So I use this knife every single time I cook.
Yeah.
Without fail, every single time.
We use those fillet knives a lot when we're butchering deer or whatever because they're so nice to they're just all purpose.
You can
so
get in
nice.
there. So definitely worthwhile. And you can see a lot of this stuff, like, it's not the super fancy expensive stuff.
And it really doesn't have to be. If you're looking to spend money, you can spend a lot of money.
And
If you're just looking for appropriate tools, you really don't have to spend.
And don't
that
get me
much.
wrong, I've got an expensive knife here we'll talk about here in a minute. But you don't have to have it. So yeah, the big, this is a 10-inch slicer. And yeah, anything that's hot and you're cutting, this is awesome.
It's so nice. You don't know you miss it because I've used like one of these forever to do my slicing. I just love this thing.
Yeah,
So,
it's just, again, it's a bit of a flexible blade. It's really thin. It's really sharp, and it cuts really well.
yeah.
I'm gonna come back to this one in a second.
Or that's all I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah, this is a cleaver. This is the next knife on the board that I would buy. Because sometimes when you're cutting a big piece of meat, if you're breaking down a rib roast, sometimes you just need something to get through a bone.
For sure.
And you can smack it and it'll go through just about anything.
You said next knife you would buy next to the fillet knife.
So I would buy
and then cleaver.
No, I'd buy them in this order. I'd buy my fillet first,
Fillet,
the slicer, and then I'd buy the cleaver.
Okay.
It's just great about breaking stuff down.
Nice.
This, and I don't remember what this type of knife is called. It is a machete, basically.
Machete.
Like you can use
just like
you can use it for slicing. It's pretty sharp, but it's a much thicker blade. Like I can't really bend this.
Yeah.
But I love it for brisket because I can slice the flat, but I can chop the point.
Yeah, that's hard to
way
do with a
better
little
than
slicer.
I can do with the slicer.
Yeah, that's a good call.
So, this is a knife that I may have just cut myself.
Yeah. Be careful around knives, kids.
Yeah, this is just a cool knife
Oh, sorry.
that my dad gave me. I think for Father's Day one year, but it's a fancy knife.
It's super cool.
So when you're like getting together and you're doing ribs or something, like you're slicing stuff and you want to pull it out and look cool.
Yeah.
Like this is the knife that I go to.
I like that a lot. That's cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Just a fancy. So this is more of a show knife.
Yeah,
I mean, it's thick though. You could probably get almost everything done with it.
You could do everything with it.
Yeah, that's way cool.
But all I ever do with
All-purpose.
it is slice a tri-tip, slice ribs up with it.
I like that.
It's not the knife I'm going to pull out and use to break something down.
Yeah.
So, and that
Would also intimidate a robber for sure.
it probably would. So, that's most of the prep gear. Mike, why don't you talk about this?
Well, you turned me on to one of these bad boys.
And we're back.
Food saver.
Sorry, everyone. Battery died.
Listen, we're learning. So, yeah, this is kind of, whenever we smoke stuff, we're always usually doing big chunks of meat. And unless we're cooking for a huge crowd, there's always gonna be leftovers. And I've always just put them in a Ziploc bag, thrown them in the freezer, and then I either don't use them in time, they get freezer burnt and that's kind of gross, or the bag will open sometimes. Anyway, John said a vacuum sealer is the way to go, and I got one, and I gotta tell you, it does not disappoint.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
Especially, I love buying the big primal cuts of meat and then being able to break them down the way I want them, the size I want them, the trim I want on them, and then sticking them in I did the same thing. I'd put them in a Ziploc bag, they get freezer burnt in 3 months, and I'd throw away hundreds of dollars of meat every year.
Right.
This has saved me a ton of money.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, and it's so easy to use. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, and it's pretty stupid proof, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
So, again, kind of a nice to have thing. You can make do without it.
Yeah, you definitely don't need it.
If you're, again, looking for some gift ideas or just reason to spend money, highly recommend.
Yeah.
And there's different brands. I think mine's a Nasco or something. Amazon has a bunch of them.
Yeah,
So
Nasco's a great brand.
get a few, try them, see what you want. So,
Yeah. So, well, I think we've gotten through them all.
yeah.
What did we miss? What
Yeah.
do you guys use that we haven't talked about? I'd love to hear about it. And
As all my kids' YouTube videos say, comment down below if you have any gadgets that we didn't talk about, or down this area here, or if you use a different style of whatever, or if you think something's stupid, let us know. We'd love to talk about it on our next podcast and just kind of say, oh yeah, so-and-so brings up a good point, but we'd love to get some interaction from you.
yep. So until next time, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
We're Fat Guys with Smokers.
Thanks for listening to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't forget to tune in for even more nonsense from a couple of Fat Guys with Smokers.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.